this video, we're going to look at the importance of knee lift to a runner. As with other elements of the action, it is going to be a little different for sprinters and distance runners, but primarily only due to the amount of effort put into each stride. There isn't a single PE teacher or athletics coach who hasn't at some point shouted, "Get your knees up," to someone who is sprinting. They are right, however, it is not always clear if they know why they're right. Getting good knee lift is about the generation of force into the floor. It is easy to demonstrate this. Lift your foot about 2 to 3 centimeters off the ground. Now stamp down from there. You'll feel very little force being created. Now try the same thing with your foot starting 20 to 30 centimeters off the ground, and you'll notice a lot more impact. We don't want to exaggerate the knee lift. It should only come as high as is comfortable, to a position we call quad block, or a little lower in a distance runner. As we run faster, from jogging to sprinting, our knee will naturally come higher to produce more force. However, if we force it high, it can use a lot of energy and produce the wrong running mechanics. Some limiting factors, such as flexibility, can cause a lower than optimal knee lift. In this case, it is possible to increase flexibility to achieve a better knee lift and greater power production. This foot strike then generates force in the opposite direction and enables an equal and opposite reaction to power our running forwards and up as we overcome gravity. One of the key issues with knee lift is making sure we get there early enough in the stride to be able to utilise the force we generate. In normal running, the recovery phase is where the back leg recovers from pushing off the ground back to its highest point. The high point will vary depending on the speed of the run. In maximum velocity running, this recovery involves flexion of the lower leg until the foot is tucked underneath the body, allowing it to swing through quickly to the latter stage of recovery where the knee is high and the shin is perpendicular to the ground. This primes the leg for a powerful strike down onto the track. A critical part of this recovery is being able to keep the lower leg tucked into the body, also known as high heel recovery. This contrasts with the low heel recovery needed in the start. If the back leg's recovery is a bit slow and the heel recovery is lower than optimal, the knee lift will either have to be sacrificed, or the dropping of the leg back to the ground will not have sufficient time to be brought back near a line under the hips and will result in overstriding. Here the athlete is purposefully running with poor leg recovery and a low knee drive. We wouldn't expect anyone to run like this normally. With this low heel recovery, there is little or no knee lift, and there is very little time for the foot to land underneath the hips. This produces a slow and weak running action. In contrast, a better recovery phase produces a higher knee lift and gives much more time for the lower leg to position correctly for the foot to land underneath the hips. To make sure we have the best knee lift possible, we should 1. Make our legs as short a lever as possible, which requires less effort to pull through. This is the idea between high heel recovery and achieved by recovering the heel quickly to the backside and avoiding trailing up behind the body too much. One way to think of this can be to step over the opposite knee as you bring the foot through, or to a little lower for distance runners. 2. We want to avoid the action of the heel lift being separate to knee lift, but do both at the same time. It is quicker to do the two actions simultaneously. 3. We want to avoid too much extension of the knee at the front of the stride, or there won't be enough time to pull back hard with the foot to ground strike. It can be seen that the foot is actually moving backwards at the time of contact in a good running action, allowing a pull to the ground, a bit like when we're riding a scooter. The best angle of the shin is where it is perpendicular to the ground just before touchdown. One element of training we should consider is that the hip flexor region is not trained well in many conventional weight training programs in the gym. This should be considered when you are putting a plan together. A simple solution is a knee drive such as this with a resistance band. As discussed earlier, these principles apply to all runners, but knee lift is naturally going to be lower and the foot will trail behind a little more for distance runners, as they have a need to conserve energy in what can be a demanding action to perform. In summary, the key aspects of knee lift are: the knee will naturally come higher as we run faster. Generally, a higher knee lift equals greater power production. The heel recovery is critical. A higher recovery will help us to produce better knee lift. A perpendicular shin angle just before ground contact is ideal. Thanks for watching. Please have a look at some of our other videos and subscribe to our channel to see the newest content. To find out more information about Momentum Sports, have a look at our website and our social media pages found in the description below.